all, we'd like to start by, the family, Tim's family, Becky's family, just want to thank everybody for coming out today to celebrate Barbara. I call her Barbie, so don't be alarmed by that, but to celebrate Barbie. And we're gonna have sort of a little memorial, and then we're gonna eat and stuff, but it's gonna be a nice day, and we're just really appreciative that everybody could come out and share and celebrate this life that's touched us all in some ways. So with that, might get a little serious, but as these things go, but it's important to honor her because she was really special. So with that, we'd like to invite Tim, Barbara's dad, to come up and say a few words about his daughter. And if you don't want to use the microphone, or if you're not comfortable, just project in the back of the room for them.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming here to Barbara's celebration of life. She'd be so happy to see all this love for her in one room, in one spot today. We all know how Barbara died. The disease of addiction affects us all, some families more than others. Unfortunately, there are way too many families suffering the same fate as us. During the last few years when Barbara was very sick, I spent a lot of times by her side at nursing homes, hospitals, and rehabs. We had some very good heart-to-heart conversations. One thing I can tell you all is Barbara did not want to be an addict. She fought hard to stay sober. But in the end, I believe the shame and the guilt of things she did in her addiction was just too great for her to overcome. Her loss has left us with a permanent void. So many reflections on what might have been. All that being said, today's not about how Barbara died. It's about Barbara's life, the fact that she was here, and the legacy she left behind. Barbara blessed us with two wonderful granddaughters, Jade and Shauna. Barbara was named after my mother, whom also passed away at a young age of 32 from cancer. On the day Barbara was born, Becky and I lived in Dearborn Heights. I was a machinist working for Masco Corporation in Ypsilanti. I got the call that Becky was in labor. I drove down I-94 like I had a get out of jail free card. About 100 miles an hour. I never got pulled over or got a police escort or anything like that. But there was a song that came on the radio, and to this day, it makes me smile and think of Barbara. The name of that song was I'm No Angel by Greg Allman. And poor Becky was in hard labor for about another 23 hours before Barbara was finally born. Barbara's outgoing personality and smile is how most of us will remember her. She could be a little loud, a little argumentative, kind of dramatic, quite lazy at times. But she was also fun, caring, loving, and very thoughtful. These are just a few traits I could think of to describe Barbara. I'm sure you all have your own. As a young girl, Barbara was a talker. In fact, I would joke she talked so much she would even talk in her sleep. When she was a young student, teachers would always comment on how smart and intelligent she was. And many subjects came very easy for her. But her favorite subject was always being social, which turned took a back seat to being her schoolwork there. I remember when Barbara was young, she went through a phase of where she was a very picky eater. She would only eat chicken. So I would tell her everything was chicken. It took her a couple years to realize her chicken wasn't green. One time we took Barbara to Disney World, and Maria bought Barbara an autograph book so she could go collect all the characters' autographs. And right inside the front gate, Barbara collected her first autographs. It was Chip and Dale. And while they were signing her autograph book, one of their heads fell off. And Barbara was pointing, "Now that's the guy in a costume." We went on and had a great time. Barbara filled her autograph book with all the characters. And, we have a photo of her at the end of the day. She was so tired, she couldn't even walk. And she was crying at the front gate, not wanting to leave Disney World there. Barb was also very thoughtful. On her birthday a few years back, Jaden, Barbara, and I went to Brazilian Steakhouse in Detroit. Barbara had the waitress take our photo, and Barbara blew up that photo and was going to give it to me on Father's Day. Well, that Father's Day, she forgot it. The next time I saw it, she left it in her car. Next time after that, she forgot it, etc. In true Barbara fashion, she finally gave me that photo 2 years later. And to this day, it's on the back. This is something I cherish. It's the last thing Barbara ever gave me. The last few years with Barbara was very special in many ways. We felt like we had our daughter back. She was able to reestablish relationship with her daughters, her brothers, her friends, and family. We took several trips up north. We enjoyed snowmobiling, fishing, kayaking, and shooting. Barbara even shot guns. I can't sum up Barbara's life and what she meant to me in a few paragraphs. We would love for anybody to share their stories of Barbara and what she meant to you. It has been an emotional roller coaster over the last 5.5 months since Barbara's passing. People have said, well, there has to be some sense of relief knowing that Barbara's no longer suffering. My answer to that is yes, but as long as a person's alive, there's always hope. We are dented but not broken. We look to the fun memories. One thing I want you all to know is Barbara did not want to be an addict. As a parent who lost a child, you're suddenly looking at life through a different set of eyes. We can only hope that there can be some good coming from Barbara's untimely death. For me, it means to let go of the small stuff and focus on the blessings in our life. Barbara would have wanted the best for each and every one of you here today. Thank you for caring.
Sam, I just have to say that was amazing. And you should be proud of that. That was a really nice video. So, Barbara's daughter, Julian, is going to come up and maybe lighten things up a little bit. And tell us maybe a story or two about her mom and her relationship with her mom. You ready?
So, sorry. So first of all, I'm so unbelievably happy that we can all come together and celebrate my mom's life. I know that she's here celebrating with us. I look around, I look around at all the pictures and all the purple colors, and it makes me smile because I know how much she would have loved all of us. And but as many of you may know, my mom loved her Skittles and her hard candy, hence the bowls of it on each table. But when I say she loved her candy, I mean she loved her candy. But even more than that, my mom couldn't get enough of her ice cream. Her ice cream was very important to her. She took it very, very seriously. Which is why when I think of my mom, I always come back to this one story, which you can guess is about ice cream. This story takes place on a chilly winter night in 2019 at the apartment that G-Mom, my mom, and I all lived in together. My mom and I had so badly wanted to make ice cream sundaes. And remember, my mom doesn't play when it comes to ice cream. But the dilemma was, we had no toppings. So, no toppings, no sundaes. My mom and I were debating going to the store and getting some toppings, but it was late at night. We were already cozy in our pajamas. We had no idea what to do. So G-Mom, being the wonderful person that she is, trying to help us through our crisis, bursts out with, "Or we can make milkshakes!" I slowly turn over to see my mom. I don't think I've ever seen her so utterly disgusted with anything else in her entire life. I was afraid to look at her because I knew we were thinking the same exact thing. And for years after that incident, we terrorized G-Mom with the same, and she absolutely hated it. Anytime there was a problem, we would consistently use the milkshake line, and it was a running joke between us for years after. That story is just one of the many that I have with my mom, and there's an abundance of memories that I'm so thankful to say I'll be able to cherish for the rest of my life. As we all know, my mom's life wasn't always candy and ice cream. We all know that she had her fair share of struggles, but no matter what was going on in her life, she always remained the most positive person I know. She took every challenge head on and carried through with a smile, and that's something I'm always going to admire about my mom. She showed me that no matter how negative things can feel, there's always room for the positive somewhere, and that's why I wanted to tell this story today. I love her more than my words can express, and I just know that she's always going to be with me throughout all of my negatives and positives. Lastly, I want to give a really big thank you to everybody who helped this memorial come together. You're very appreciated, way more than you know. But I really want to give a very special thank you to Ginger over there, because without her, this memorial would not have been the same. She's helped G-Mom and I with so much, from running around everywhere to pick things up for us, to helping me put together this speech, and just overall being such an amazing friend. Thank you.
You were standing on your foot?
No, I think I'm sitting in yours.
I think you got your public speaking if you want it. That was amazing. Let's take a breath here for a second, because gut wrencher. We have a friend of Barbie's that they grew up together, and she's here today all the way from Florida. That must have been hard to leave. But you brought the sunshine, right? Well, this is Amber, and she'd like to share some memories about Barbie.
right? Yeah. You know Stephanie and Aaron, right? Yeah. I used to go to middle school with them. Can we be friends? And the rest was history. She never let me live down that story of how I solicited her friendship and would tell everyone just so they knew how much of a dork I am. At the time, I didn't know just how ingrained in my life she would become. I met her when I was 14. I moved to Florida when I was 21. So we had some pretty pivotal points in our life together. And even with the distance, the things I learned from her and her family carried into my adulthood. I learned first and foremost, I wanted to have Ferraris in my garage in a lake house. I wanted to be so cool that I could burn CDs and know the anthem singer of the Red Wings. And I knew that I wanted to be a hardworking, resilient, and down-to-earth mom. I learned from her that no matter how many times you fall, you get back up. I learned to be goofy and silly and sing my heart out in the car to any song, any genre. She knew them all. You could change the radio station and there was a dance to go with it. I learned to not take any crap from anyone. I was a soft-spoken kid, and I had never known that someone would stick up for someone the way that Barb did for me. She helped me have the backbone that I have today. I also learned to not dress like a Karen or act like one. I was blessed to have 2 really good visits with Barb down in Florida since she had recovered from the nursing home things and all that. And she came down to stay with me for a week at a time, 2 years in a row. And she was sober and 100% herself. I could not have asked for better last times of seeing my friend. And she made fun of everything in my closet, all of my stuff, told me, you need to calm down. Don't take everything so seriously. When she came to Florida, she fit in seamlessly in my life like a sister. It's like she was always there. She was hardcore in her hide and seek game. I have a 5-year-old. I play hide and seek all the time. We went through all the spots and couldn't find her. My 5-year-old opens the closet and moves coats, and there she was, like shriveled up behind the coats, laughing because we've been searching for 15 minutes. She's gonna be upset with me for sharing this embarrassing one, but it was by far the funniest. We're driving down the road to a friend's house. There are no stops to use the bathroom, and she's gotta go. She's like, I've had kids, I have to go. So we pull over in Florida on a dirt road. She's wearing a romper. So she figures out what she's gonna do, starts her business, and a car comes down the road perpendicular to us, catching it all. So she gets embarrassed, pulls all her stuff up, gets in the car, and we arrived at my friend's house with her saying, can I borrow some shorts and a shirt? They knew she was our people. We talked so much about music. We sat by the pool with our feet dipped in the water, talked about music, her children, how proud she was of you guys. We talked about memories from our youth. She loved all things, like I said, all things music, all things shoes. They were always on point. She was funny. She was a talker, a loud talker. And what I wouldn't give to have one more talk from across the room, because you could clearly hear her. We talked about her family, about how truly grateful she was for the conversations, for the support and love that you had for her while she was going through all of that, how you never gave up on her, and about how none of it was your fault. She wanted to find ways to be closer to a growing Shauna and Jaden. She tried so hard to like the music that you liked, so she would have things to talk with you about. She was proud of you girls. She was looking forward to your future together. Endless pictures and stories, and she lit up telling every single one. She never wanted anything but the best for you two, even when she couldn't give it herself. When I was getting ready to come here, I was emptying my wallet for the first time in years since she was in Florida. And a receipt popped out, folded open to the name of the restaurant. It was the last dinner we ever had together. It was in Clearwater Beach, where the soft sand goes right up to the restaurant, sunset, tropical live music. This is now a memento of my last dinner with my Bessie, my best friend. And I like to think of her sitting there in that most perfect place until I get to see her again. Thank you.
That was incredible. Thank you, Amber. You really painted a really pretty picture. At this time, I'd like to, or the family would like to invite anyone up that wants to say or share or, you know, now's your chance. Anyone care to come speak? I'll say it. I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
I'm Janelle.
This is Janelle, everybody.
I'm Barbara's cousin. She was a pivotal part of my childhood. Her and I grew up like sisters. My uncle was living with my grandparents at the time, and I pretty much lived at my grandparents at the time, so we were always together. We spent countless vacations together, and I feel like so blessed that I probably had the best years to spend with Barbara's life that she had. A couple stories are, one, I still remember when we were at my grandma's house spending the night, and we used to sneak and play video games and like eat food, and she loved, I think Jaden, she loved sweets, cookies, ice cream, everything. And she would eat a bunch of cookies or ice cream, and we'd go to sleep, and she was such a hard sleeper. And my grandparents had a trundle bed, and she was sleeping on the top, and I was sleeping on the bottom. And she would get up and throw up in the middle of her sleep, not even know she would throw up, and just fall back asleep. And you would say, Barbara, you threw up in the middle of the night, and she'd go, I don't remember that. And so she got up one night, and I was on the bottom bunk, and she sat up and she threw up all over me. And she started choking, and I ran to get my grandma, and she ran in there, and she, you know, helped Barbara and everything, and being like how she would retell the story. Barbara would always say, and this one time, Janelle saved my life. The story. And we were just best friends through our entire childhood. Like I said, we had vacations. One other story is we took my uncle's Explorer and we drove down to Florida, and her and I listening to CDs the whole way. We thought we were so cool because we got like Tupac CDs, and we got down to Florida, and I wish I would have brought the pictures, honestly, but my uncle had dared us to do this huge slingshot on the boardwalk. And this is a story I tell my kids to this day. That's like how they know Barbara, because I showed them the pictures, and he said, I dare you guys to do that, I'll pay for it, because it was like $25 a person. And we said, yeah, we'll do it. And he took pictures of us, and we're so excited, and we're like holding hands, and we go up, and he's watching us, and then he takes pictures when we come down, and we're white as ghosts, like ready to vomit. Like, what did we just do? So I'm just so grateful to share those memories with my kids, because they still won't do that slingshot to this day. I'm trying to say I did it. So I'm just so blessed to have some really great years with her and have those memories be my last memories with Barbara. I know she would love this. So thank you.
Thanks, Janelle. Would anyone else like to say a word or two about Barbie? Okay. At this time, we're going to ask Barbara's mom to take a deep breath. And she's going to come up.
Gotta put my sexy specs on. Well, first I would like to thank everybody for coming today. I am truly humbled by the show of support that we've received putting this event together. I look around at the room and I see all of you here to celebrate my daughter's life. And it means so much to me, and I know how much it would mean to Barbara. Her life was cut short. Her adult life was troubled. She made bad decisions and poor choices because of her illness. But this is not what I want to remember about my daughter's legacy. I don't want her legacy to be that. I want her legacy to be her two beautiful children, Jaden and Shauna. Being her mom, I may be a little bit biased, but her smile was a million watts. And you can't know my daughter and not know that incredibly beautiful smile. It truly was her gift in this world. This is the reason I had the Barbara buttons made. I want her smile to continue to light up the world. I want to talk a little bit about her bigger-than-life personality, which you all know. She always wanted to be the center of attention and loved every minute of it when she got it. When I was married to Mandy's father, my stepdaughter here, we had an 8mm camcorder, and
Spice Girls, man.
What can I say? Yes.
Oh my God.
so Mandy can so attest to this. We actually just watched some videos that we did. I couldn't find all of them. I couldn't find the Spice Girls
Oh,
one,
no.
but we were constantly, and that camcorder was always in Barbara's hand. And I'm gonna try to demonstrate Barbara a little bit. I'm sure I'm gonna be a little off, but hi, this is Barb. I want to thank all my fans for coming here. She always had to be, and she always wanted to be the center of attention, and she loved the limelight. And that's not me. I'm shaking like a leaf up here. Are you kidding me? I don't want to be the center of attention. So there were many different videos, you know, the Spice Girls, trips to the zoo, trips, you know, many different places with their little 8mm camcorder. When she was in 6th grade, she learned sign language, and she learned "In the Arms of an Angel" and signed it. And she was so excited, and she came home, she's like, Mom, I finished it. You have to videotape it. And I'm like, of course, you know? So, so I videoed it, and unfortunately we couldn't find that one, and that's a little disturbing, but I have those memories still in my head. That carried on into her adult life, because camcorders went out, then phones came into play. So there was Snapchat, selfies, making us look like crazy creatures and happy little bunnies and whatnot, all of us. Jade, Barb, I mean, whoever was me, yeah, and Shauna, of course. Lots of them with you. So yeah, she loved the camera. Definitely loved the camera. Music.
Photogenic too.
Incredibly photogenic, as you can see. You know, she definitely was very photogenic. Music, you know, from when she was little, I've always, music was therapy for me. It always has been, and still is to this day. We always played music. We danced in the car, loud. Shauna going, turn it down, turn it down. But when I think of Barbara, and she liked all kinds of music, she was very diverse, and there was, you know, she liked country and rock and rap and just many different genres of music. When I think about her, and I guess my most cherished memory is her sitting in the passenger seat and singing and dancing and rocking our vehicle back and forth because, you know, we were so loud and jumping. And so if I miss anything, I think I look at that empty seat and I think about her a lot. We used to send songs back and forth to each other. You know, some sappy songs, some fun songs, a new song that you heard that maybe by Kid Rock or Pink or Zac Brown Band or whatever it may be. We were constantly sending songs back and forth to each other. She said, I have the most perfect song for you, and I feel like Boys to Men wrote this song for you. And this is right after she got out of Life Challenge. She was doing really good. And the name of the song is A Song for Mama. She's like, I want you to go in the bedroom and I want you to really listen to it because I mean every word of that song. And you will hear it today in the loop. We used to have dance parties. We would just turn the music on and we would do dance parties in the living room for hours. And me and Barbara couldn't dance a lick. I mean, we just stupid dancing, you know? Jaden, very good dancer, by the way. And Shauna, amazing dancer. Want to show them some of your slick moves? Yeah, so music was very important to us. And so when you listen to the music that we picked, every song has meaning to it. We listened to music for months and kept writing, oh, that's the perfect song, that's the perfect song. And so you'll hear a lot of different songs that we all enjoyed. I'm proud of my daughter's wonderful qualities and traits that my daughter possessed. She was strong. She had a lot of health issues, and she wasn't the kind of complaining type. She had some major surgeries, heart surgeries and different things, and a lot of different illnesses. And she faced them head on, not whining and crying and being a baby about it. She was very strong about it. Independent from 5. And so I have to tell this quick story. When she was 5, I was getting her ready for school, kindergarten, and I used to go in there, put her clothes on her. I'd go about my business, getting my coffee or whatever it may be. And then I'd go back in there and all those clothes were stripped off her and she had a whole new set of clothes on. And I'm like, okay, great. All right, Barb, let's go put these clothes back on. And screaming and crying, I don't want to wear those. So we did this for about a week, maybe 2 weeks. I'm not really sure, okay? It seemed like an eternity. Finally, I just said, you know what? I don't care. Go ahead. You know, she'd come out there with, you know, flowered shirt and striped pants and 2 different colored socks and maybe 2 different shoes, and I gave. And so you know, she was independent right from the get, and she was independent right up till the end. When I think about Barbara, I think about her bubbly personality. And I think everybody thinks that. she was, you know, hey, I'm here, you know. And I think about a story where she would come to the house and she'd be spending the night and she had like 14 bags carrying her down, you know, walking in the door. And I'm like, how long are you staying? I mean, it's a night, isn't it? Well, you know, I got this, but just always with a smile on her face. And this, Barbara's smile was so infectious. Like, I could really be having a crappy day, and that smile, it changed it. You know, it really did change it. She was quick-witted, sarcastic, sometimes good, sometimes bad. And like Tim said, she was thoughtful. She would honestly give the best gifts, like what Tim was talking about, and I got some pretty amazing gifts. There's a collage that she did back there that says love on it and has little pictures that she did for me on Christmas one year. One year she did a mug for me. One year we called it COVID Mother's Day, and she made me this big card that was blinged out with sparkles and you know, rhinestones and everything, and it was Happy COVID Mother's Day. Barbara was very giving, and after we started going to church, and she really found her faith, we always gave to the homeless. I'm a firm believer in that, and I know everybody has a different opinion about that. But we always did that. So I had an idea, was to take gallon-sized bags and put like toothbrushes and toothpaste and socks and gloves or whatever. And we wrote scriptures on the bag, and we kept them in our car so that when we seen somebody that was in need, we could give them the bags. And that meant a lot to her. She was also a really good friend to anybody that knew her. And she always wanted to help. And I have a story about Tim. Tim had a friend that had a daughter that also had endocarditis. And she was in a nursing home, and Tim asked if Barbara could go and give her some words of inspiration and try to help her through it, because she was struggling like Barbara had already been through and already had overcome those struggles, and she was really struggling bad. And she went and took time out, and she went and helped Tim's patient's daughter out. And you know, obviously there's endless stories about how anybody that knows Barbara knows that she was always there to help, you know, anybody in need. I want to thank everybody for coming here today, all the people that helped when Barb first passed. There was a lot of things that needed to be done, and I had a lot of support. I want to thank my cousin Jeff. Honestly, without this, I think I was a pain in his butt. I was constantly sending him pictures, editing, take in, put out. We want this, we don't want this, so we're doing it this way. And I'm like, oh, I gotta call Jeff again. So Jeff, I honestly can't thank you enough. I know how amazing this slideshow is gonna be, because I've seen them before, and thank you so much. I want to thank everybody that brought a dish, or, you know, I just really want to thank everybody for showing up. I look around here and I feel truly blessed, and I know how much Barbara would love to see this. I mean, this is Barbara here. We blinged it, we flowered it, it's all about Barbara. There's pictures everywhere. If we could have blown them up, that would have been much better, but you know, we've got this. And last, but certainly not least, my girlfriend Ginger. Not only did she prepare all this wonderful food, she helped me and Jaden and Shauna with the tablecloths, the runners, the different ideas, different things. She has been my rock through this whole thing. From the day Barbara passed away, she made sure she called me almost every single day. And if she didn't get a hold of me, she's like, what's going on? Where are you at? Are you okay? I'm freaking out over here. I'm doing a friend check, you know? And, you know, sometimes, as Tim probably can attest to, you didn't really want to talk to anybody or deal with anybody. She understood. She just kind of went about her business and said, just give me an okay, that you're okay. And, you know, I can't thank you enough. I mean, I really, truly can't thank you enough. Thank you all for coming. I truly appreciate everybody being here.
Thanks, man. Yeah, good job.
At this time, we have Mike is going to come on up, and we're going to get a little spiritual up in here. And then we'll get to see that. Okay. And then we're going to get to see the video. Eek?
Good afternoon. Thank you all for showing the family so much support. This is truly beautiful. I knew Barb, and she walked into the ministry that I ran, that I still do run. It's a recovery ministry. Right after a really rough time in her life. The thing about faith, you know, that we all have to understand is, if you have faith, it doesn't make you perfect, right? Like she loved Jesus, and it showed throughout her life, man, that she the love that she exuded was because of that, because she, you know, the Bible says that Jesus is love, that God is love, and she exuded that. And you could see it in her smile and the things that she wanted to do for other people and with other people, and the reason why she wanted to get clean and right was because of her daughters. Like I can 100% tell you that she struggled hard because of you guys. She wanted something better for you, right? And I want you to understand, being a fellow ex-addict, it is not easy. Some people call it a disease. I call it sin. It's just sinful behavior. Something crept into my life, and I went with it because it felt good. And that's what most addicts do. You know, it's fun, and then it hooks you, and it's hard, and you can't let it go very easily. But she, and I can remember, like, one of the first times that she showed up, she was, by the end of the night, she was like, girl, give me your phone number, and I'm gonna help you, and we're gonna help each other. And I'm just like, whoa, slow your roll, you know, slow your roll, girl. Like, we're here for you, man. Like, she wants to run the place. She was like, all these women, they love me, and I love them. I'm like, yeah, that's cool, man, but like, you're here for you, not for them, right? Let's let us help you. But yeah, she was a little dynamo, man, and I quickly fell in love with her, just her attitude and just her spunk, her smile, her energy. It was truly breathtaking at moments. It would take your breath away because she was a little overwhelming at times. Oh, yeah. And I remember, I'll tell this at the end, but she was kind of all over the place. Kind of, you know. But she truly loved God, and I believe that she is truly alive right now and happy. The Bible says that it is better to spend your time at funerals than at parties. After all, everyone dies, so the living should take this to heart. Sorrow is better than laughter, for sadness has a refining influence on us. A wise person thinks a lot about death, while a fool thinks only about having a good time. We come into spaces like this and we celebrate people, or maybe we just want to mourn them, but it causes us to reflect on our own lives, right? Like what are people going to say about me? Is anybody even gonna stand up and say anything good about me? Because sometimes I just feel like there's nothing good about me. And I know that Barbara had feelings like that a lot. Although she was helping people and she was wanting to help people, and, but her demons ran deep, and she doubted herself. But listening to the stories here, like, and knowing her true heart for God, she is, I believe, 100% in heaven. Not everybody goes to heaven. I want you to understand that. Not everybody does. We like to think that our loved ones will do that. But unless you believe, this is what she believed, unless you believe that Jesus Christ came to die for your sins, then you're not going to heaven. But you believe that. That was the one thing that I got to talk to her about in depth. That was so important. It was so important for me to have that conversation with her, and it was so important for her to have that conversation with me, because she wanted me to know, like, she was in it for real. She wanted to kick this thing for her girls and get her life straightened out and be right with God. And so when you read that it's better to be at a funeral than at a party, it's counterintuitive. It's countercultural, counterintuitive, right? Like, yeah, everybody wants to party, man, and this is great. This is an amazing celebration of her life. But man, let's not miss the moment to reflect on your own life and what really truly matters in your life. Like, are you living for today, or is heaven in your forecast, right? Is God even part of your life? She wouldn't have got free as she got if it wasn't for God. I 100% believe it. The Bible says that we can do nothing besides what God helps us with. And being someone that struggles daily with staying clean, I 100% understand what she went through. I see people at their worst every week. I love coming into these things because I actually get to know people on their good side. And it's the worst time because I never get to tell them how proud I am for living a life like that, you know. I too love ice cream. It is one of the most important things in my life. Candy's a close second. See, I never knew that about her. But because when you run a recovery ministry, you only see people at their worst, and then when they're doing better, they leave. But I remember she had messaged me, and she was like, "Hey, I wrote a poem, and I want to read it for the people at Renew. I want to go on stage." And I'm like, "All right, man. In a couple weeks, we'll set it up for a couple weeks." And she came. That was the last time I seen her. Man, she came and we were. Usually when I preach, I don't have shoes on, because Jesus, when he preached, he didn't have shoes on. She wanted to do it with all her heart, but she was scared because the realization of standing in front of 100 people and just being vulnerable with something that you created yourself. She was like, I want to do it, but I can't do it. I want to do it, but I can't do it. She's like, do I have to wear shoes? I'm like, no, you don't have to wear shoes. I never wear shoes. She's like, okay, I'm going to do it just like you do it. And then like, so it's coming up to the time, and she's like, I'm really scared. I don't want to do it. I'm like, well, you're going to do it because they're going to make you do it. And then she ended up doing it. She got a standing ovation. And it was beautiful. The words that she wrote was absolutely beautiful. But nothing as beautiful as her. The legacy that she leaves behind in her daughters and the love that she shared with all of us, that is more valuable than gold, right? The Bible also says a good reputation is more valuable than costly perfume. And the day that you die is better than the day that you were born. I believe that she understands that more than we ever will until we cross over to the other side. And I hope is my prayer, and I know that it would be her prayer, that you guys, all of you, each every one of you, I don't know where you are with faith, but that you would know Jesus. That Jesus Christ was born a child to a virgin, that he came into this earth as a child, just like every other child, but his father was God. He lived a sinless life, healing people, setting people free from bondage. And because of it, people said that he was blaspheming God. And he was crucified for it. He never sinned once in his life. Could you imagine not doing that, not ripping into somebody, or not smoking a joint or whatever, doing something your parents didn't want you to do? Yet he lived a sinless life, and people sent him to his death. But the thing is 3 days later, he rose from the dead. Easter, right? It's not about a bunny, it's about Jesus. Easter. He rose from the dead. He walked on earth for about 40 days, about 500 people seeing him, and then God took him up into heaven to be seated at his right hand to judge, to rule. That's what she would want you to know, because that is the most important thing that you could learn in this lifetime. There's this quote that I love to quote: the most important thing about you is what you think about God. Because at the end of your life, you're going to have to answer to him. And if you don't love him now, if you deny him during your life, he'll deny you during your death. It's just that simple. Why would he let you into your? Why would God let you into his house if you never loved him? Good reputation is more valuable than costly perfume. It's better than a fat bank account. What people say about you, right? There's the thing that you put on the tombstone, right? 22587 dash 1 2 22. That little dash represents her life, and we're celebrating that today. And I want this to continue. Like, this is the best thing to be as your mourning, is to talk about it, share those stories, right? The good ones, the bad ones. Like, y'all went through some stuff together, and the best way to be mourning is to laugh, right? Is to tell jokes. So as we're eating, as we're communing with each other, I just hope that y'all would just tell stories. Continue to just tell these stories about her. Funny, goofy, whatever. If you want to get up and dance spontaneously, do that. Like, do we have ice cream?
We couldn't swing it. Logistically.
Well, maybe we can have milkshakes. Milkshake! Not that I know, now every time I see you.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Oops. If you're in this room, chances are you've crossed her path and she loved you deeply. She loved deeply. It was obvious, it's obvious by the stories. And we need each other, not just today, not just next week, but the family has been mourning for months and they're going to continue to mourn. And so I would just suggest, encourage you to just stay in each other's grills about telling these stories, about being family, right? About sharing the good times and the bad times. You know, unfortunately, she didn't end on a high note. Like I said, she wasn't perfect. The thing about Christianity is you don't have to be perfect because Jesus was. The thing is the only reason why she is in heaven is because she was forgiven. Not perfect, but forgiven. And that's what she would want each and every one of us to know that. So, let's pray. And then, let's move on. And Father God, thank you so much for this day. God, thank you for Barb. Man, such a bright light in a dimly lit world. God, so much energy, so much love, so much pain. But God, you use all of that in her life, the good and the bad. And God, we thank you for that. We might think that her life was cut short, but God, you said it was the way that you wrote it. So Father, I just want to pray for the family and the friends here in this room and the ones that couldn't make it. God, that you would bless them, Father, with peace and comfort and knowing that she is with you, that she's not in any pain, she doesn't have a worry in the world. Yet we're stuck here with only her memories. But God, nobody can take that away from us. So we thank you for that, Father. God, we give you all the praise and all the glory for all those stories that come back to our minds, God. Even the videos and the sound bites that we want to have recorded. And God, we thank you for a life that was lived fully. God, we thank you that there will be many, many more memories shared here this afternoon, this evening, and for the months and the years to come. Father, we thank you in Jesus' holy, holy, holy name. Amen. Would you like me to bless food?
Oh, you better bless the food.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna eat in a little bit, so we're gonna bless the food real quick. And Father God, thank you, man, for always supplying for us, God, and protecting us and loving us and forgiving us, God. Father, thank you for the food and everybody, God, that you would bless us with that, and you would bless every hand that helped with it, God. Thank you for Miss Ginger and all the amazing work that she has done here tonight or today. And God, we just give you all the praise and all the glory for it. We pray all this in Jesus' holy name.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. Jeff, you're up. Dazzle us. I'm gonna get food recipe.